then there were 5. The truck and I were on a mission to take the local band called the Shades of Blue to Charleston for a gig at a teen club. Everything was going fine until we were about a third of the way home. Again, it was me driving, and all the band guys were laying on the equipment asleep. It was probably about midnight by the time we hit the road, and we had been on the road about half an hour. This put us on Route 49, not far from the little town of Brockton. Just then, the left front tire decides to go flat. I had not had a flat tire on the truck before, and I had no way to change one, let alone jack it up, or a spare. This was not a good time or place to have my first flat with the truck. I just pulled over to the side of the road and shut it off. I just sat there by myself trying to figure out what to do. Back then there were no cell phones and there was no phone booth for miles. As I sat there quietly, I heard the guys start to come alive. I told them we might just have to wait it out till morning. Tim Frazier, the lead singer and bass player, was wide awake quickly. He and another guy decided to venture off down the railroad tracks that lead into the sleepy town about a mile away. Maybe he could find someone there to help us. After about an hour, they get back to the truck with news that everything was closed and there were no lights on in any houses. The good news was that he had found a stray kitten and it was now his new pet. It was a cute little thing, but that didn't help the truck situation. So we sat there. Most of the guys went back to sleep. I did not. I needed to get something done. Then along comes a truck. It pulled over, stopped, and backed up to the front of us. A man came back to my door and asked if he could help. My answer was yes, but what can he do? He said he could take me up the road to the all-night truck stop and restaurant, and I could call someone from their phone. I jumped at that. Down the road we went, but it was much farther than I was thinking it should be. Then there it was, right on the corner of US 36 and 49. He dropped me off, and there I was. The lady at the restaurant told me about a guy with a tow truck. She said I could call him and see what he could do. I called. The guy was in bed at the time, but he said he could come to the truck stop and pick me up on the way to my truck. Great. After what seemed to be forever, he showed up and was outside the restaurant. I got in with him and we proceeded down the road to the truck. All the guys woke up as they heard us pulling up. Next question was, what next? He said that he could have us on the road again in just 10 or 15 minutes. That was good news, but how is that going to happen when we have no spare tire? He said that we have plenty of tires since we have a truck with dual wheels in the back. Wow, that was simply amazing to me. I was pretty knowledgeable about cars and trucks, but that had never occurred to me. He pulled to the back of the truck and lifted the back of the truck with his boom and took the outside wheel off the left rear, then let it back down. He moved to the front and lifted the front of the truck to take off the flat and put the one from the rear on, then let it back down. What a genius! I paid him his fee and off he went. We were on the road again and headed home. It took some time, but we got through it. That's not the end of the story. As we were driving into town, the sun was coming up and we were running out of gas. With all the excitement, I'd forgotten to get gas on the way home. We were coming up Georgetown Road, and I knew that most every place was still closed at that time of the early morning. The truck was sputtering, and I see this gas station sign on the left side of the road. As the truck is taking its final sips of fuel, we coast into the station and up to a pump where we come to a stop. Hallelujah! It's open. It's an all-night station. It did look pretty funny from the back to see the truck with 2 wheels on the right and only 1 on the left. Sometimes it's good to have some luck on your side and to have 6 wheels. Given all the issues with it, I was able to make it to the point where I sold it to another band. The band was called Plush. They didn't have the magic touch like I did with it. It broke down on the highway with them only a few weeks later, and that was the end of the truck. I wish I knew what happened to it after that.